Dr. Rudolph V. Hawkins. The Rudolph V. Hawkins. How are you doing, sir?
Doing just great.
My goodness, it's a pleasure to have you here to be doing this with you.
Thank you.
We are going to get into it. Now, listen, born in 1948 in Detroit, Michigan. Not only were you born in Detroit, Michigan, you were born in the house. Now, let's talk about it.
Well, my doctor, who was Dr. Selfax, he told my mother, don't try it, stay home. This baby is too big and you're sick and I'll come to you.
Hmm.
And lo and behold, my father went to work that day and my mother had a baby and my mother's sister-in-law, my aunt, was there, and she decided my mother didn't care what they named me. She just wanted that out of her. And my aunt named me, out of all things, Rudolph Valentino,
Wow.
after the actor,
Wow.
the great lover.
My God.
I tell you, lover.
I am not doing it with you, Uncle. So listen. So Carl and Margie Hawkins.
Yes.
That's mom and dad.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
what kind of influence were they growing up as parents? Were they musical?
Not at all. Plain working people.
Mm.
My father was a factory worker, and my mother she did day work.
Mm.
And to tell you the truth, growing up, I was so blessed, and I thank the Lord for it. I never knew we were poor until I got to high school.
And now that's the black family lineage, okay? You won't know because they make it look so good, and that's something.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. Basically, everything that I wanted for my birthday, Christmas, or whatever, and everything except the piano.
Wow.
And I didn't get a piano until I was on up until junior high school, and neither one of my parents went to get that. My grandmother, who always saw to me getting my piano lessons and everything, she took me downtown a few days before Christmas. I will never forget it. And we went to the store, and my grandmother said, "Pick out one that you want.
Hmm.
I'm going to make your mother and father pay for it. I'm going to pay the down payment, and they'll have no choice." And they didn't speak to me for a while. Mama, they were upset. I got the piano.
Got that piano, my God.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
listen, you have one brother and two sisters, am I right?
Yes. But I have a whole lot others.
Now let's talk about it.
Okay.
Now the brother, first brother, what's his name?
Lester.
Lester. And the two sisters?
Everybody's a Lee except me. My brother's Lester Lee. My sister is Nova Lee. And my other sister is Carl Lee.
My God.
So
Okay.
that's too much Lee for me. So, and they went way off when they. And my father said he was so upset because he wanted them to name me Michael, and he come home and this is what they had named me, and he said that's why I have never called you by your name. I call you son. How are you doing, son? Hey boy, come here. All any of that, but never Rudolph Valentino.
Oh my God. So listen, two children.
Yes,
And what are their names?
Carlton, Truman, and Leo.
Wow. Now are they musical?
Not at all. Not at all. Carl is in business administration, and Leo, the last time I saw him was on the what are those potato the 7-Up commercial, and he was on played the father on the potato chip commercial. I can't think of the name. They're very popular. It'll come to me. But anyway, he's out of town and he got himself into the commercial business, and I'm proud of that.
All right, all right. Now you have a host of adopted nieces and nephews,
And children.
And children, absolutely, godchildren.
Yes.
right. Now let's get into elementary school. What was that like for you? And what school did you attend?
I went to Washington Elementary School. Elementary school was like being in dreamland for me. I loved elementary school, especially my music class and auditorium. That's where I first discovered I had any kind of talent in theater or whatever. My auditorium teacher and both of them were theater minors, and my vocal teacher at school. You know what that is, vocal.
Mhm.
And going to her class was like going to Mother Goose.
Mhm.
She sat there and amazed us. And her voice was
Yes.
so sweet and it was just hypnotizing. And the songs, and what was so amazing, my auditorium teachers had me doing Italian,
Mhm.
uh, different songs. They had me playing an organ grinder, La Donna E Mobile. Uh,
Now let me run it back before we get into this, because you said it was like a fairy tale.
yes,
Now hold it right there. Now for somebody, I know a lot of us have had many occasions like that where we daydream. Explain what was it like for you in school as a child? While everybody else was playing, they was trying to run around and do their thing. What was it? What were you thinking?
about music, writing, trying to write music, looking at instruments. I made sure I was in the library so I could have peace and quiet
Yeah.
so that I could try to write some little notes down and just dream that I'm sitting up there like Mozart or Beethoven or Bach and just sitting there, just scribbling notes. I still have some of that to this day that I
Wow.
scribbled as a child in the library. Uh, just sitting there dreaming. I'd sit in math class. Every class I could find a way to associate with music.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about Della Clark, Miss Scott, and Miss Benjamin. Who are those people?
Della Clark was my vocal teacher in elementary school. Miss Benjamin and Miss Scott were my auditorium teachers that I
Okay.
mentioned a little earlier.
Yes, yes. Now, throughout your childhood, you were singing
Yes,
different. What did
yes,
they
no
have you
pianos,
in?
just singing.
Because somebody noticed the talent one day.
Yes. Now I don't know how that really happened. It was in out of date. I guess we were singing the Star Spangled Banner or something like that,
Mhm.
and they noticed me. And from that time on, they had me. The community would come out. They'd have me perform. The community would wonder what I would be doing on this particular show. Everybody knew me, and it was fun for me, and I just loved it. And my mother, I know the people at the church and in the neighborhood were tired of my mother because my mother just bragged, and she was so proud until she passed. She was always proud of all of her children, but she just gave me a little extra dip when I did something that she really approved of.
Now that I think that's all of us mothers. Now, when you got out of school, what age did you start doing plays? You got into theater. Now, how old were you?
Well, I got into doing plays and things in high school.
Okay.
Now, I went to John J. Pershing Senior High School,
Mhm.
and my teacher up there, auditorium teacher up there, was Mr. Robert Kaminsky.
Mhm.
That man saw something in me, and I was up there. Oh, Spencer Haywood was there, Geno Washington, and all. Matter of fact, Geno Washington and I did his last TNT show there. He was a senior, yes, and I think I was just beginning there. Anyway, we did a TNT show, and it was just simply wonderful. Just everybody used to come to these shows, and the auditorium teacher used to do shows where they would go all over the community, and they people from all over uh, our regions in Detroit would come to Pershing to see these shows because he was a genius with set design and
Wow.
sound. And then he discovered me, and we did plays like Sleeping Beauty, Archie, and Mahedabel of musicals and things. And that gave me my good send off. And I went from there to Wayne University.
Now, we didn't skip to high school and college. I'm gonna back up a little bit because I want to talk about the feeling that you had when you graduated from elementary school. What was that like for you?
Being at a funeral. That was the saddest day of my life. I loved Washington Elementary School. I loved my teachers.
Mm.
These people, it was just like everything that it had just died. I didn't have anything. After I left Washington, I went to Cleveland. They
Mhm.
called them
Cleveland
junior high school. And I was disappointed. I dropped out of vocal the first semester because I felt like I did come to study vocal music in junior high school to just
Right.
sing patriotic songs and a couple of folk songs and things like that.
Right.
So
That
therefore,
wasn't appealing to
not at
you.
all. So therefore, I switched over to instrumental, and that's when things started to happen.
Now, is that where Mr. Robert Sheffield came in to play?
Yes,
Okay. Let's
yes,
talk about it.
Mr. Sheffield was the band instructor. He had been there since Dirt.
Mm.
And everybody talked about him. He was mean, racist, and all of this stuff. This man took an interest in me.
Mm.
And back during those days, we had the Detroit Symphony and we had the Detroit Concert Band.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Sheffield was in the Detroit Concert Band. And he started me on a horn that I had no interest in at first. It was the baritone horn. It looked like a small tuba.
What?
And he worked me and worked with my theater and my intonation and all of this. And we worked and worked during all my special time. He even told my mother, one day this is going to be a great musician you have here. If he lives past taking my music home and not bringing it back.
Period. So Mr. Sheffield, Robert Sheffield, he encouraged you.
Yes.
He put you under his wing.
Yes.
He put you under his expert tutelage and showed you another instrument that
Yes.
you didn't like that thing.
Not at all.
So what happened with that?
When I got to high school, after my first year, I won the John Philip Sousa Award for that horn.
John Philip Sousa Award. Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God. So after you won the award, that opened up just musicianship in its totality for you.
It opened up, but it opened up something else too that I hadn't experienced.
Well, come on, let's talk about
After that year that I won the John Philip Sousa Award, I won every other musical award in the school.
it.
I won
Literally
in Persian. And the principal and all of the teachers and everything, they presented me with these awards. Number one, I got a trophy. I never received it. I'm sure it's still sitting up there in Pershing's showcase. I just got a piece of paper that would let you know that a little merit award that I did win the award, and then a little pen. Okay, fine. And I won a scholarship that year too to Wayne. I I went to Scott. I got talked my mother to help me get the sweater. You get those beautiful sweaters with the letters and everything on the side and everything.
Happy Day sweater. That's
Yes. But I learned life with that sweater.
Yes.
The first day that I wore that sweater, the very people that presented me the sweater kicked me out of school.
Hold it. You say what now?
The principal kicked me out of school, and some of the gym teachers were there. They were complaining because they said I had no business with a sweater like that. Only athletic people should have sweaters like that, and that I shouldn't wear this sweater. And these were the very people that gave me everything to get the sweater.
Now, what do you think that was about?
I really feel it was about racism.
Come on now.
And I got tired of it. Every time I wore the sweater, I got kicked out of school
Wow.
until I finally got tired and just walked off.
My God, my God. So, did you ever see the young man who actually arranged you? Is he still living today? Is he deceased or is he with
Which
us
one?
still? The young man who actually arranged to give you the sweater and then took it back.
The old, no, they were quite old.
They were quite old
No,
then.
yeah,
Okay.
uh,
All right. Well,
old
listen.
and Caucasian.